The complainant flagged the police down to identify the defendant as the person who struck the vehicle. The estimated damage from the complainant was around $4,000, and the defendant stated she didn't stop because she was hungry and colored.
And what?
Colored.
Colored.
Yes, Your Honor.
Get ready for one of the most jaw-dropping courtroom exchanges you'll see this year. We got a defendant who not only hit a vehicle and fled the scene, she came back and hit again intentionally. And her excuse? She was hungry and colored. Yes, you heard that right. But it gets even crazier. This is a commercial driver with a CDL, already on felony probation for assault of a peace officer and injury to a child, who just picked up an evading arrest charge before this hit and run. Judge Flecher is known for his patience and willingness to help people. But watch what happens when disrespect meets consequences. This defendant is about to test every ounce of the judge's composure, and the courtroom showdown is intense. Will she take accountability, or will she keep digging herself deeper? Let's find out.
You want to talk to me real quick?
Yes. Well, it's not going to be quick, so.
It's okay.
Okay, so I'm here
When is
on,
it ever quick?
I'm here on Miss Gill. She's set, for a bond today, and
In
so
custody?
she is, yes, Your Honor. And she has one pending felony, but she's out on a bond for that one already. She just has no bond set in this case.
I see bond sets. I see the FSGI is at 1,000. Yeah.
Okay. I talked
It
to
must have
you.
just gotten set. I don't know.
Okay, is it a PR bond?
No. It's a
Okay.
show.
Okay, then if we could review it today, is that possible?
Absolutely. Do
Okay.
you mind, Deputy Etchigon, do you need a translator?
No.
Do you mind me bringing up Miss Gill? All right. Good morning, Miss Gill.
Good morning, Your Honor.
I wanted to bring you out because we're talking about you, and it's only fair that you get to hear what's transpiring since these are your cases.
Yes, sir.
I want you to know, I don't know anything about your case. All I know is that you've now, as of 3/26, yesterday, you picked up a failure to stop and give information. What happened? Or, well, hold on. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. Okay. Good.
On March 25th, 2025, officers were dispatched to 15357 Wallaceville Road in Harris County, Texas, regarding an FSGI call. Upon arrival, the officer spoke with the complainant, who stated that she followed the defendant after the defendant's vehicle hit her twice and failed to stop and give information. The complainant stated that she was driving southbound on the East Sam Houston Parkway, and the defendant failed to drive in her lane and sideswiped her, causing the vehicle damage to the right side panel of the defendant's vehicle. The complainant stated that she blew her horn several times for the defendant to stop, and the defendant refused. The complainant followed for approximately 3 miles to 15242 Wallaceville Road, and the complainant and the defendant exited their vehicle, and the complainant told the defendant that she hit her vehicle and needed insurance information. The defendant then told the complainant no, and that she was getting something to eat. The defendant went inside the business, exited, and then entered her vehicle and attempted to drive away. The complainant blew her horn several times to get the defendant to stop and told her the police were coming, but the defendant ignored the complainant. The defendant then began to put her vehicle in reverse and proceed backwards, hitting the complainant's vehicle a second time. The
So are
complainant,
you telling me that now it was intentional?
the complainant moved her vehicle to avoid being hit and followed the defendant. The complainant flagged the police down to identify the defendant as the person who struck the vehicle. The estimated damage from the complainant was around $4,000, and the defendant stated she didn't stop because she was hungry and colored.
And what?
Colored.
Color.
Yes, Your Honor.
Stop right there. Let's break down what just happened because this incident is absolutely wild. Miss Gill didn't just commit a hit and run. She turned it into a two-hit spectacle. Here's the timeline. First, she sideswiped a vehicle on the East Sam Houston Parkway, causing damage to the right side panel. The victim honked multiple times, but Miss Gill kept driving. The victim followed her for 3 miles until they both stopped. When confronted about the collision and asked for insurance information, Miss Gill's response was basically no, I'm getting something to eat. And she walked into a restaurant. But here's where it gets insane. After coming out of the restaurant, she got back in her vehicle and tried to drive away again. The victim honked, told her the police were coming, but Miss Gill didn't care. Then, and this is critical, she put her car in reverse and intentionally backed into the victim's vehicle a second time. We're talking about $4,000 in estimated damage, and her excuse? She was hungry and colored. Judge Fletcher's reaction says it all. Even he had to ask for clarification because that excuse is so absurd. This isn't just negligence. This is deliberate, reckless behavior from someone who holds a commercial driver's license.
Can you look up to see if she has a valid Texas driver license?
Yes.
Ms. Gill, I'm going to find that there is sufficient probable cause to go forward with your case. Not only are you on a felony probation for assault of a peace officer, not only are you on felony probation for injury to a child under 15, but you pick up, after both of those, an evading arrest in a motor vehicle, and now an FSGI. I am taking away your privilege to drive. You will now be signing an affidavit with me today, promising me you're not going to drive. I don't give a rat's behind what your excuse is. If I find that you drive in violation of this affidavit, I will have a contempt. I can have a contempt hearing. I can have a contempt.
After.
Finish.
I'm so sorry.
Finish.
I'm a commercial driver.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
You, if you do have a CDL,
Sorry, that is correct. She does have a valid CDL.
are held to an even higher standard because of that CDL. You now have a total of 4 open cases, one of those being this FSGI and an evading arrest in a motor vehicle. I am taking away your privilege to drive. If I find that you do, I can have a contempt hearing. You can be facing an additional 6 months in jail and a $500 fine.
Okay, we need to talk about the absolute irony of what just happened. Judge Fletcher is in the middle of revoking Ms. Gill's driving privileges. Because, let's be honest, she's proven she's a danger on the road, and she interrupts him to say, I'm a commercial driver. Let that sink in. This woman holds a commercial driver's license, which means she's held to an even higher standard than regular drivers. CDL holders are supposed to be the safest drivers on the road. They operate massive vehicles that can cause catastrophic damage. And yet, Ms. Gill has managed to rack up 4 open criminal cases. Felony probation for assault of a peace officer, felony probation for injury to a child under 15, evading arrest in a motor vehicle, and now this hit and run. The judge's response, you are held to an even higher standard because of that CDL, is spot on. This isn't just about one bad decision. This is a pattern of dangerous, reckless behavior from someone who should know better. Judge Fletcher is making it clear. Driving is a privilege, not a right. And when you abuse that privilege while endangering others, consequences will follow. The affidavit he's requiring means if she violates it, she faces contempt of court, an additional 6 months in jail, and a $500 fine. Do you think revoking her license is enough? Drop your thoughts below.
I truly am at a loss with the attitude.
Okay.
Truly.
Okay.
This case here, not only do we have an FSGI, but it's also alleged that you backed up and hit the person intentionally. Because allegedly hungry and covered. So now, this is an affidavit, and I hope that you take it seriously. Because if you don't, there will truly be disastrous consequences. Ms. Gill, I want you to understand that I'm going to do everything in my power to protect my public at all costs. Do you understand?
I understand you, Your Honor.
May I make argument for a PR bond, Your Honor? She's made a bond in the felony already. And even with the affidavit to not drive, I expressed to her that that was a possibility of a bond condition. I've spoken with her. She has family members who can help her get to and from court. She's a single mother of 2 children. She has lived at this address here in Houston for the past 5 years. She lives with her mother. She lives with her younger brother. Has lived in Harris County her entire life. And she has, in these felonies, she's actually applied to be put in mental health court because during this incident and the felonies, she was unmedicated and she has a history of mental health diagnoses. And so as a client of the Harris County Public Defender's Office, we have every intention of getting her treatment for those mental health issues. But she's already made a bond in the felony, and she is willing to abide by any condition that this court will impose on her. It's down to the difference between $0 and $100. And
So I appreciate your argument. She's technically, you are right on bond. My feeling is that these felony courts probably do not know that she has now picked up this case yet. So I don't know what, if anything, they're going to do when they do discover this. I find, Ms. Goucher, right? Is that what Ms. Goucher? I really appreciate your argument going to bat for her, but I think with her demeanor, her attitude, her reckless and wanton action on the road, is that you are a danger to the public, and your bond is now set at 1,000, and I'm going to raise it to 5 because I think that you really are a danger to the public, and your attitude shows us and tells me that, hey, I'm going to do what I want to do, and that's it. And that's always, I mean, really,
don't say anything.
how many people died this weekend on the road because of the reckless and wanton actions? All we want are our streets to be safe.
You're not helping me, Your Honor. You're not helping
Don't
me.
say anything.
I'm struggling. I'm a single mom, and I've been struggling with the courts for years already, and I'm tired of this. Okay? I was beat, okay, in front of my children, and I was thrown on the ground like an animal, okay? And I'm tired of this. I'm tired of all of this, okay? In front of my children. My children have trauma, okay? And I have no insurance for the medication, and I have not been on the medication. I'm trying to get the insurance to get on the medication.
Ms. Gill,
Okay.
I understand that, but at some point, your actions become your own, right?
You don't understand. I'm colored. You don't understand me. You don't understand me. If I was a different color, you would. And it's true.
That's so
It's
not.
so true. It's so true. And you know this. You know what I'm talking about.
This is where things get really complicated. And we need to unpack what just happened. The defense attorney made a compelling argument. Miss Gill is a single mother of 2, lives with family, has deep community ties, and is seeking mental health treatment for unmedicated conditions that may have contributed to her actions. These are legitimate mitigating factors that courts should consider. Mental health is real, and untreated conditions can absolutely impact behavior. But here's the problem. Judge Flecher isn't just looking at her circumstances. He's looking at her pattern. For open cases, including assault of a peace officer and injury to a child, show a history of dangerous behavior that predates this incident. When he tried to raise her bond from $1,000 to $5,000 because of public safety concerns, Miss Gill erupted instead of taking accountability. She claimed she's being treated unfairly because she's colored and accused the judge of discrimination. Now, is systemic bias in the criminal justice system a real issue? Absolutely. But in this specific case, Judge Flecher has demonstrated throughout his career that he calls out discrimination wherever he sees it, regardless of race. The issue here isn't her race, it's her actions, intentionally hitting a vehicle twice, fleeing the scene and showing zero remorse. Mental health struggles are valid, but they don't excuse endangering others on the road.
I call out discrimination when I see it on a daily basis, ma'am. I don't care who it is. I don't care what color. If they're a small farm animal, I don't care. I call it when I see it. The only thing, because I don't know them. The way I get to know them is paper. And they tell me what happens in the case. And from what I see here and what has transpired here within the last 10 minutes. Really?
Officer Harris did not read me my rights.
Well, I will let
They've been mishandling me like this for years already, okay? I have the right to tell you this. And I'm telling you, she did not read me my rights. She just shoved me behind the officer car. I did not get a voice to speak out anything.
Yes.
She just brought me to jail.
You guys speak about that. I'll tell you, look, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave your bond at $1,000 now. All right. I'm not going to raise it to $5,000, but I can't continue to give you a PR bond.
From employment too.
Listen,
Okay.
do not drive. That's the only thing I'm asking you to do.
I'm a commercial driver.
Don't pick up a new
Yes,
case.
sir. Yes, sir.
And just, all right. Come on.
What we just witnessed is a masterclass in judicial patience and restraint. After being accused of racism, being interrupted repeatedly, and watching Ms. Gill spiral into emotional outbursts instead of taking accountability, Judge Flecher made a decision that honestly shows more compassion than most judges would extend. He could have raised her bond to $5,000 as originally planned, and he would have been justified given her criminal history and dangerous behavior. Instead, he lowered it back to $1,000 and kept the driving restriction in place. Why? Because despite her disrespectful demeanor, he recognized she's struggling, has mental health challenges, and needs help, not just punishment. His final message was simple: do not drive, don't pick up a new case. That's IT. Those are the only two conditions. No jail time, no astronomical bail, just two basic requirements to protect public safety. But here's the heartbreaking part. Even after this mercy, Miss Gill still couldn't stop herself from saying, "I'm a commercial driver again," as if that somehow justifies her actions or makes the restriction unfair. The judge showed extraordinary patience, but the question remains, will Miss Gill actually comply, or will she end up back in court facing contempt charges? What do you think happens next? Let us know in the comments. Let's recap this absolutely chaotic courtroom hearing. Miss Gill, a commercial driver with a CDL, was charged with failure to stop and give information after hitting a vehicle, fleeing the scene, and then intentionally backing into the victim's car a second time, causing $4,000 in damage. Her excuse? She was hungry and colored. But the story gets deeper. She's already on felony probation for assault of a peace officer and injury to a child under 15. Plus, she picked up an evading arrest charge before this incident. That's 4 open criminal cases total. Judge Flecher revoked her driving privileges and required her to sign an affidavit promising not to drive, violation of which carries 6 months in jail and a $500 fine. The defense argued she's a struggling single mother with unmedicated mental health conditions seeking treatment through mental health court. When Judge Flecher tried to raise her bond from $1,000 to $5,000 for public safety, Ms. Gill erupted, claiming discrimination and interrupting the judge repeatedly. In an extraordinary show of patience, Judge Flecher kept her bond at $1,000 with 2 simple conditions: don't drive and don't pick up new cases. This case perfectly illustrates the tension between accountability and compassion in the justice system. Mental health struggles are real and deserve consideration, but they can't be used as blanket excuses for dangerous behavior that puts others at risk. Judge Flecher tried to balance both, but only time will tell if Ms. Gill will comply. If you found this case as intense as we did, smash that like button. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think the judge was too lenient or showed appropriate mercy? And don't forget to subscribe for more unbelievable courtroom moments. We bring you the cases that spark real conversation, and we want you to be part of it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.